Welcome everyone to another episode of the Guild of Brockheart, brought to you by AED&D. Um, if you are watching us on YouTube, leave a like and subscribe, a review, comment. I want to see comments about Man Bear, please, everyone. Anyways, yeah, if you're watching, listening on the podcast, like, subscribe, review, all that stuff helps us out. But yeah, we're welcoming a new guest today. Name is Canervis Splargen. And we'll be bringing
Excellent.
him in today's campaign or today's episode, hopefully. Unless Donnie decides to go on an hour-long monologue, he might.
It's possible.
He does that sometimes.
Uh, so yeah, did I forget anything? We're on episode 9, something another. Did I forget something from my usual starting thing?
Not that I know of.
I'm not the one to ask.
You guys hear me do it every week. So yeah, we'll take your word for it. But yeah, let's get a recap and we'll continue on to where we left off. So last time on the Guild of Brockheart, the man bear set off in the morning with a newly acquired acquaintance to, take care of the goblin quest that he tried the day beforehand. This person is a tall, bulky, was he a human? Yeah, I think so. Tall, bulky human with a shield as big as gnome face, and can use it like swinging it around and slicing stuff in half. Yeah, they set forth and met up with the goblin. It was odd, and the fact that the encounter happened in an identical way of the last time. The man bear was prepared for it this time, though. He blasted the two goblins in the hallway right away and sheltered his eyes from the glowing orb that seems to attract everyone else who looks at it. Bruce, on the other hand, was not beneficial of that, but even in his blind state, and he sensed that he was being attacked from all sides and just did a nice AoE and just sliced them all up. A couple more fireballs and exploding earth bombs, well, fire bombs, and there was quick work of that goblin camp. And the two of them end up heading on back to Kodith. Meanwhile, Gale continued in the interviewing, traveling the adventurers. That's it. For the escort mission that he posted. He did you actually get one yet or no?
Oh, I've got Tonya. She's an archer. She's
The
kind
day
of cool.
before or the morning.
Okay, well, Bartholomew the day after that. And then Lucas, who was giving off some crazy vibes. I'm like,
yeah, so he ended up interviewing a couple people. One of them was his name was Lucas, who ended up controlling inanimate objects, or at least that's what he showed, and kind of gave everyone the heebie-jeebies. Jury's still out on him on whether or not he's going to show up.
yeah, and even if he does, I'm telling the quest managers, backlist him. If we get to somebody else, they take priority.
Sure. But all right, I think we're going to start today with the second half of the day. Yeah, because we're going to continue, but then camera issues. So yeah, we're going to, the man bear or gnome face, your stuff took most of the day, so you're going to come back. It's going to be like afternoonish. So we're going to start with Gale waiting around to see if more people show up today. And then we'll bring you in after that.
Chilling at the desk. Got my 2 knights with me.
So yeah, starting off at the palace quarter in the guardhouse or something. No, in the extra room. There is Gale, the financial person that is there to help you out in your 2 nights. What would you like to do to pass the time after you already had lunch and then you dealt with the guy who freaked you out? So you got some bit before someone else shows up, I think.
I guess I'll actually look up go to the quest board and see if there are any minor errands that need to be run. Kind of just like help people get their cats out of trees, do some nightly stuff, you know? And I'll bring my 2 knights along and show them how it's done. Help old ladies cross the road, that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you go to the quest board and the HUD pops up and it asks you like which one you want to do or which class of stuff you want to do. You go around, you look at like remedial stuff and you pretty much see what you find. I'm not gonna narrate you getting cats out of trees. And I mean there's a couple, so I think you end up taking so someone's purse was stolen and looking to get that back, and both of the other knights, one took like a I mean these are more immediate, but yeah, they both end up taking like a cat out of the tree and stuff of that nature just to show them around. So while doing that, it takes you about like 2 hours and you head on back to like you go back, those quests are the ones that like you have to see the person who posted it. So most of the time the person is there or NPC is there, and so like you get, they're like, hey, let's give you a reward, and I'm sure you like, no, this is a knight's duty.
Yeah, no, I don't want it. Meta-wise, can I roll Knight's Presence? This is basically kind of me using that skill in a way. I'm performing duties as a knight, just helping people out with little things.
They reply saying they're very gracious, and some of them offer to, hey, let me grab a bit of dessert or a sandwich for you at least, something not like money wise that you're turning down, but something that still makes them feel better.
Okay, yeah, I'll take some food. Can I roll Knight's Presence though, just for the hell of it?
Sure. I'll allow it because you're technically spreading positive image of Brockheart.
13.
For this type of stuff, they weren't, probably were maybe neutral if anything, or just didn't care.
Yeah.
So yeah, not you kind of swing them to more of a, hey, that the Knights of Brockheart seem to be pretty good people.
That's the only word I care about.
So yeah, you're feeling a lot better. You guys are feeling a lot better of yourselves. They're learning from you as they're supposed to, and you head on back towards the palace quarter where where the interview room is. So the secretary sees you as you guys walk up. It's like, oh hey, there's someone waiting to be interviewed. You have another guest, essentially.
I hurry on over. I rush right there. I book it.
You see a kind of dainty human woman sitting outside the door.
I stop. I'm like mid rush, and I stop. I look at her. I'm like, "You seen any adventurers looking to interview?"
She goes, I was hoping I would be able to.
I kind of like take a moment to squint, and I look at her. I'm like, "You? All right, come on into the office."
So she stands up, and you're like taking a look, and you see blonde woman, pretty like soft face looking, wearing like kind of a, not like a dress, but like more of a loose green like clothing. She has like little like what kind of is like antlers or a hairpiece, you don't know, on the top of her head. She has braids in her hair. She kind of she looks pretty, like she keeps herself clean, but then she also has like her like bags for traveling and stuff like that. So you enter the room and to go sit at the table. She follows, and the knights follow in behind her, and the knights then go behind you in the normal spot.
So, you understand the objective of the quest. There are perils involved. Tell me what your qualifications are.
So this is the escort to Ahkasai, correct?
Yes.
Ah, I was, figuring I could help with some heavy lifting and just speed if need be.
Heavy lifting and speed. What do you mean by that?
Um, I can lift heavy things and I can move really fast at times.
I'm not sure that's going to be super useful. We do have a caravan we're riding with.
So how about let me show you?
All right. Please demonstrate.
She kind of stands up. She pushes the chair off to the side. There's a very elegant twirl, and in the third time, there's kind of like a dusting that like covers her, so it's like harder to see. And afterwards, there's a stag in front of you that's standing taller than you are sitting.
Okay. I guess if one of the horses breaks an ankle, you can provide a spare.
One of the knights next to you say, "Sir, I should keep this professional, and I've heard that these things can hit pretty hard."
Oh, I didn't consider the combat capabilities of this. I whisper over to the knight. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Okay. Now that I've given it some consideration, what's your name, miss?
It takes a second and kind of looking at you, almost as if trying to communicate with you, and then she kind of the whole thing kind of like the flurry of like particles like goes in front of you again and spins, and she's back to her human form. She's like, "My name's Eleanor. Nice to meet you."
Nice to meet you. You'll join the quest listing for this. I'd be glad to have you. Speak with the ambassador or the quest manager to speak about payment and planning for the quest. We will be leaving around 9 on Friday.
9 on Friday, eh?
Yes.
That could work. Yeah.
Don't like mornings?
No, I'm kind of like feeling out which quest I want to do right now. So
Fine, don't rush.
not too sure if this is the one I'd prefer, but what kind of rewards are we talking?
Again, speak to the quest manager. They'll discuss payment with you. I am but a knight.
She was more or less saying that open to the room, but not necessarily directed at you. And he goes, well, we're not necessarily giving money per se, but being this is a quest supported by the Lord, we can provide you with a lot of amenities or other such things from Quoth itself. we do have some swing, and we like to give back to the people and utilize what the people can provide for us. And she replies, like, "Oh, that's very enticing. Um, I'll have to come back and discuss with you. It seems that I'm on good terms with Sir, you know, Sir Gale here, and let me think of what I would require, and then or what I would want, and then I'll meet with you and discuss payment, and if anything, be here at 9 o'clock on Friday."
Yeah.
Just then, you see her pull up her like HUD, or it looks like she's in her HUD, and all of a sudden, you get the little ding that you have a message request, just to have an open communication. And she says, well, I'll be heading on out, and maybe you'll hear from me soon.
Yes, perhaps we will. See you on Friday. Have a good day, Eleanor.
So she heads on out, and yeah, with the stuff that you've done today and whatever, it's getting towards the end. The palace is kind of like closing up for the day. Um, Anything you particularly want to do before you head back to the inn?
How much time do we have
Uh,
before, we start crouching into sleep deprivation territory?
you're pretty well rested. Like it's like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock ish.
I guess I'll just take a stroll around the town at night, just have the knights follow me around. Just like, it's good to be observant of the goings about. Train the eyes. Look for suspicious individuals. Even if we're not on duty or performing a specific task, it's good to stay sharp, vigilant. We are knights, after all.
All right, roll a d100. If you get above a 90, then you find some unworthy people.
Ah, a 6. Another uneventful night.
Yeah, you stroll in. It's the air is very nice, and you feel quite refreshed, and you bestowed a lot of wisdom upon your knights in training with you during that time.
And these are the nights we wish for every single day. To bed!
You head on back to the inn, and you eat, and then you head on up to bed.
Yes.
Manbear, switching to you.
Yep. I'm here.
So it's about afternoon, like later afternoon. And so you head on back to the you and Bruce get back to Cold Earth. The whatchamacallit, the job posting. So you check the or I guess, what are you doing first?
Go turn in the quest, turn in the goblin leader's head, and get our reward. Which I honestly don't even remember what it was.
Yeah, I don't know either. But yeah, anyways, you
1 second. Someone's knocking at my door.
Suspicious. Yeah, so you end up checking the do you want to fine. You end up checking the HUD, and you see that it updated in the fact that, like, now it went from like get the gobbling king head, and now it's like return to blah 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 in the city.
Okay. So I go to blah 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 in the city.
All right. I'm gonna just say it's randomly over in the canal quarter over here. So
I'm not on the city map. You have me on the goblin camp map.
Oh, yes, because you're there permanently.
I didn't want to say anything because I didn't know if you were gonna wait.
Yes, you're there permanently. You're stuck there forever. You're in an infinite loop. But
Shit.
yeah, you travel across the city and you arrive at like kind of a rickety kind of building. It kind of looks a little run down, but yet still pretty intact. Like the stuff that needs to be taken care of has been taken care of, but like cosmetically, it's just eh.
Cosmetically, it's eh.
Yeah, cosmetically, it's not one to be desired, but structure. It looks like it's structurally fine.
I'm back.
Welcome.
Well, I go in.
Just gonna barge in.
Well, knock and then barge in.
Okay, you do that. You walk up to the door, you knock, and you barge in. And
I didn't say barge. Like
you did say
politely
barge.
enter. You said barge. I said knock and then go in. Like politely.
No, I heard barge. Anyway, you knock and you
That's what
don't
you
hear
said.
you knock, you don't hear a response, and you hear noise coming from inside, but like not one like "Hey, come on in" or whatever.
Knock a, unless it does it sound like disturbing, like violence, or just like people talking.
Doesn't sound like violence. It just sounds. I mean, kind of like a kind of like a cinematic part of a movie where it's just like some low sounds and just like uh background like noises, but just in kind of like more intense.
Kind of like a tavern kind of situation.
I'm thinking more like a movie where they're like a spaceship is flying close and it just you get that low rumbles and you can tell something's going
Oh,
on, but there's nothing telling you like someone's in trouble. It's just
okay.
like they
I'll
probably can't hear you over.
I'll
Your,
knock one more time. If nobody answers again, then I will open the door. Not barging in, but open the door and enter,
still think you
saying
should have
hello.
barged. All right, so
Shut
you know
up.
you knock one more time, and Bruce is like, "Hey, may hold on a second, let me try." And then he just pounds on the door, just toot toot toot, and you hear some like footsteps like rushing towards you, and they open the door. It's like, "Hello."
I politely go, hi, I'm here to turn in a quest. I was told to bring this here. And I kind of raised the head a little bit of the goblin.
The moment you say quest, the person interrupts you and it's like, "Oh, quickly, come in!" Opens the door and they run off towards the back of the
I
house.
look very confused, but then I enter.
So you guys enter and like it's dark in there. Like there's enough light to see where you're going, but overall, like you can tell that this part of the house is not like being used, and there's lots of light coming from where the person ran off to. And Bruce is like, some heebie-jeebies in here, but I guess we should keep going.
I agree, like wholeheartedly, and I kind of just keep walking. I take a step back and stand behind the proven tank as I follow behind, hoping he gets shot in the face first.
All right, so you guys walk in, and you follow the person in the back room. You guys enter the room, and there's like 5 different cauldrons. It's a large room. There's 5 different cauldrons. There's like a handful of like apothecary, like not necessarily apothecary, but like um the like a bookcase, but with drawers all over the place.
Okay.
With all different types of stuff, and you see other like random shit hanging on the wall. And when I'm talking random, it's like wings. It's like just stuff that you're like, why does this person have it? And like you see the one cauldron in the middle of the room it's lights are all around it, heat underneath it, and
Mm.
there's light around so you can see everything, but like it looks like 2 of the cauldrons are not being used, and the other 3, like 2 of them are kind of just there, but the one it's kind of like actively working on.
Gotcha.
Um,
So it looks kind of like this person dabbles in alchemy and random fucking collections as well, apparently.
Potentially.
Okay.
Um,
I take this all in as I walk back.
so yeah, you're in the room, and the very older woman kind of reminds you of your the person who teaches you, or your mentor in Brockheart. And she goes, so what quest did you return? Are you returning from?
Goblin encampment, and I put the head on the counter.
There's no counter, but like you hold it up.
Oh,
I'll say you do that.
yeah, I'll hold it up then.
The person kind of like looks up at you, and like she was on the steps and like kind of getting ready to mix and do stuff with the middle cauldron. And she kind of squints at you a little bit, and runs up, and she's like, yes. And she kind of like puts her hand, like, this is exactly what I need.
Before she can take it, I don't know if she's. I know you said she put her hand up. I don't know if she's being grabby or not. But either way, I kind of hold it down a little bit and go, "Reward first, please. I have to split it with this fine fellow here, and then you can have your head."
She was kind of just like putting her hands near it to like inspect it, kind of like not trying to like grab it. You don't feel any like pull or anything. She's kind of just like looking at it just to make sure it's authentic. She's like, I hope you guys weren't looking for money, because I can't really do that.
Was there a reward, posted on the quest?
I don't remember if I said, but I'm gonna say no.
I don't remember either. Okay. I go, well, I'm not really short on cash. I look at Bruce. You?
He's like, no, I'm holding up.
Okay, well, what can you offer us then?
She goes, she points at one of the cabinet that's kind of on the far wall, and she's like, go in there, pull out the drawers. You guys each can grab 5 potions. That's what I can offer.
Are they labeled?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I gently give her the head, and I go to the cabinet and I look at the potions.
So you're handing her the head. The moment like you like kind of like let go of it, she grabs it, runs over to one of the cauldrons, and just dunks it right in. You hear a little splash.
I kind of
sizzles.
I choke back my vomit and go, I hope I'm not getting a potion with goblin head in it, as I go to the cabinet.
So yeah, you open the cabinet, and you see like a couple like they're by drawers, and there's like, I don't know, 10, 15 drawers, kind of just loaded with potions, like health, like little health, medium health. You have like poison resistance or poison like antidotes. So you have like poison, confusion, berserk. She has both of the like to cure it, but then she also has like a resistance for it.
Okay.
And so she has a bunch of those. There is the resistance ones last for like 3 minutes. The cures any level 1 or first, like it's like, yeah.
Okay. As I'm looking, I kind of talk back over my shoulder and I go, do you have any temporary stat boosting potions?
I may have a luck one in there. But in all honesty, those don't sell as quick. Most of the people who need potions, they need it because something's ailing them.
Yeah, I was just wondering, a good boost to my stats in the middle of combat wouldn't be bad. But thank you for answering my question. I turn around, I grab let's say 2 mana potions, 1 health potion, and 2 cure poison potions.
There's no yeah, fine. There's 2 mana potions. If there's health potions, there's mana potions.
I
But
kind of
okay, so
figured that would be a thing.
they're all of the health and the mana potions are like D8s. D8
Okay.
plus 3 is the basic one, and we'll just stick with that. And you said the antidote ones or the cure
Yeah,
potions?
2 cure poisons.
Okay. So yeah, you get that. Bruce grabs a handful of potions himself, and he's like, "Well, I'm okay with this."
I go, well, pleasure doing business with you, Bruce. You tanked well, even though you didn't listen to my advice and ended up blind.
Yeah, I don't need to see. And he chuckles and he's like, let's go back to the job board."
Say let's head back to the job board, following him.
You guys, head on out, and he kind of cautiously closes the door behind you, and he's like, "Still, that building might collapse. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
but
sure
I
it's
think I'm
fine."
gonna become a. I go, yeah, but I think I might be visiting this lady more often if she can make potions. It's been a while since I've seen a good potion maker.
Or so you think. You don't know yet. She could have just sold you some green water.
Good point. That would suck. Hey, I have 6 mana potions. Holy fuck.
Yeah, you just forget to look at your character sheet.
I do. I do.
So yeah, you guys stroll back to the job board. Bruce, opens up the job board. His HUD pops up, and the priority quest pops back up. He's like, "Hey, have you seen this quest yet?"
Uh, go over. Can I see his screen or no?
No.
Go. What quest?
He's like, it's the priority quest. You can't miss it."
I go over and I poke at the board to get the priority quest to pop up.
Yeah. So you activate the board or whatever, and then the general HUD pops up with the screen. Quote at the job board, and a pop up comes in, and it's just like, "Hey, new priority quest," and it says escort mission, and it has a brief description, like travel Ahkasai, from Gale Glavinus.
It mentions the troll, right?
Not in the brief description. You can click on it and read it further.
Oh, I'm curious because it is priority. I kind of look at it. I go, it's an escort quest, but it's got to be something special if it pops up automatically, right? I kind of say to Bruce as I'm looking at it.
He's like, "Yeah, I'm not sure why this is an escort quest. It could be a headhunter quest, but maybe there's more to it."
I go, okay, well, I might as well check it out. And I kind of poke the more info button.
So what I'm picturing is you're looking at it, and there's a bunch of all these tiny squares, and it gives you the very brief excerpt. So then when you click it, it brings up the whole listing, and it can look like that part. It can look like whatever they choose to. So it could be an old fashioned letter that's nailed to a board or whatever, and stuff like that. It allows creativity. Okay, Gail, what does he read?
One second. Okay. So job posting. Adventurer 1. Aid in slaying a troll in the mountains to clear the mountain pass for kingdom trade routes. Also, must ensure that the caravan arrives successfully in Ahkasai. This is an official band of knights from the Brockheart of Kingdom posting the quest. Payment is to be discussed with the application, during application. Destination is to Ahkasai. Return to Quodeth for reward.
Along with
Okay.
what it says, he ends up signing his name, Sir Gale Glavinus, and it's a very fancy, like, I mean, I don't know if he wanted this, but I'm saying it's like very fancy, like parchment paper, and in the corner right after his name, he has the stamp with the seal of Brockheart.
Yes, I love it.
Kind of like,
Noticed the seal of Brockheart.
Huh?
I said I noticed the seal of Brockheart, and that intrigues me because barely anybody in this area besides, the leadership even knows what Brockheart is. And I'm like, if anything, I might be able to get some information from this guy about Brockheart. I should probably talk to him. Even if his quest does turn out to be a flop, maybe I can get some info out of him. I look to Bruce and I go, I think I'm going to take the interview for this. It's been nice working with you, man. I don't know if you'll be taking the interview or not yourself, but, I'm going to check it out. And I clip accept.
As you do that, he's doing the same thing. So actually, I was thinking of taking it as well, or at least looking into it. Have you heard anything about Ahkasai before?
No, I'm new to the area. I told you that. Remember? Big fucking tentacle tossed me across the ocean.
Yeah, but you never know what people hear nowadays. So, let me
True enough.
let me talk. Did you want to head there right away?
Talk while we walk, yeah.
Yeah. So you guys are walking, and he's talking. He's like, "Yeah, actually, so Ahkasai is like in the middle of the desert. It's you know, the whole desert is its kingdom, and like if you go down the river, like they have as you leave the town headed to the river towards the mountains, from that point on, that river is controlled by the kingdom of Ahkasai. And it's very weird. I mean, okay, this part I've only heard stories of, but they describe it as like a floating city, but like grounded, and there's orbs all over. I've heard it, from what I picture, imagine that woman's house, although floating above something else. So I
Sounds
don't know.
neat.
It sounds like the whole city's like full of magic. So I was hoping that I could get some quality enchanted items. So I was kind of thinking ahead that way, anyways.
I start to kind of go starry-eyed as he talks about floating shit and magic, but then when he mentions, getting some quality enchanted items, I go, I'm an enchanter. I can enchant your gear. Well, I can't do much yet, but I can at least give you some basic enchantments. That way, when we get to the city, if we all go, I don't know if I'm going yet or not, though I am interested. But either way, when we get to the city, you can sell your current gear for a little more money so you can buy better enchanted gear. And it gives me some practice.
Well, maybe if depending upon how it goes, like we could he's like I forget. Oh, he's like, well, maybe after the interview we could sit down and you can do your thing.
I would be more than willing to for the assistance you gave me, and on top of that, like I said, it gets me some practice.
So with this time, you guys end up making it to the palace quarter, and this you walk in and you talk to the secretary. Say, hey, hello, welcome to Corliss Palace. How can I help you?
And I go, hi, how you doing today, ma'am? I'm looking for Sir Gale Glavinus.
She goes, oh, I regret to inform you that he is out for the rest of the day. You can come back, bright and early. He shows up bright and early in the morning.
Bright and early it is, ma'am. Thank you for your information.
So the two of you had leave, and he's like, well, coincidentally, he's staying at the same, or at like the hotel across the street from you.
I was gonna say, as we leave, I was gonna be like, well, we can I got this hotel, we can get some food, and I can take a look at your gear. Like I said, I only have basic enchantments, but something's better than nothing, right?
So yeah, that sounds like a plan. I'm staying over, and he tells you like old Quoth. It's kind of a hop, skip, a skip away from the job board.
Okay, sounds good. I think I'm staying down there myself. I still don't know much about the area, being new, but my hotel is not too far from the job board.
So okay, so yeah, we're just gonna go through, and you guys, make your way there. You guys grab some food, chat a little bit. If you want to know anything more about his backstory, I can tell you. But what enchantments did you want to try to put on?
Well, I did just pick up the book for the basic defense enchantment, I believe. No, durability and sharpness. And I can do durability and sharpness, or I can do the basic elements like water, fire, earth, and air. I don't know if you're into elemental enchantments. If not, I can, like I said, increase the durability of your armor or your shield and the sharpness of your blade.
He's like, I'll go with that one. I'm not necessarily thinking of elemental enchantments, because if you're resistant to one, generally you're weaker to another. I kind of would like
This is
to
very true.
stay normal to them all. Shit, I have to
Okay.
make that
Well,
diagram.
Why don't you give me your shield and your sword? I'll begin enchanting the jewel, and then once the jewel is enchanted, I should be able to socket it in to your shield and sword using the rest of my magic, and there you go. It's 25% increase to durability and sharpness.
Oh, excellent. That should do. Should had you put sharpness on my shield too. You saw what I did to those goblins.
That was pretty neat. But having a sharp shield could probably end up being a bit of a handicap because you have a big ass shield and you could easily hit yourself with it.
He laughs like, probably don't want to cut my own leg off.
Yeah, that would suck. So as we wait for our food, I go ahead and do that.
I figured that was after your food.
Well, either way, after my food, before my food, doesn't really matter. I go ahead and do that. I get the jewels enchanted and throw them onto his weapon and shield. And kind of go, well, it's been nice working with you. I hope we both end up on this quest.
He's like, yeah.
It'd be nice to have a reliable tank. My last partner thought he was a tank, but I ended up saving his life more often than not.
Carol laughs like, yeah, I've met a few of those myself. But yeah, I mean, I'm not doing anything. Maybe I'll see you there at the. Maybe we'll walk there if I have anything. If I think of anything to do, maybe I'll just go there later on. But yeah, see you tomorrow.
Sounds good. I head up to my room to crash for the night myself.
You guys part ways, and you go to bed. So day 3. I feel like it's a Majora's Mask. The third day.
Doesn't the meteor strike on the third day? We're fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have that extra hour though if you do it right, all right. Well, Sven, we're gonna start with you. I give you your option. Are you arriving by land or by sea?
By land. I don't have good luck in the sea.
You on a horse? Or
Something
hoofing.
smaller.
Oh, fair enough.
Maybe a goat.
I can roll with the goat. All right, yeah. So you enter in from the east side because this is upside down. Yeah, you enter in from the east side. We'll say, and you're arriving on a goat. You can give it a little description on your character as you're
I mean,
approaching this. Kind of like larger area. The walls on the outside. The seas to your right. Yeah.
I just sort of disheveled, kind of older, but spry. Like an anime old dad. Where they're old, but they're not out of shape. Just sort of riding in. I don't like cities like this. It's too artificial. I like it out in the woods. But I hear that there's someone looking to go to Ahkasai, and I hear there's some plants out there I haven't seen before, possibly some rare medicines I could find. If they're willing to help me get there, I mean, if I can help them get there, uh, might be mutually beneficial. So I'm just gonna see if I can find out what that's all about.
I forgot your last
Other
name.
than that, hmm?
Nothing.
Oh,
I was just making a character sheet. Sorry. Um. Yeah. So you heard word that Ahkasai, that this is the way to Ahkasai, and the person who you heard from told you to. I'll say that they told you the direction to go to head to Ahkasai, and then to check the job board because a lot of people post who go to Ahkasai post jobs there because it's a kind of a longer travel. It's not necessarily a one day, so people like company.
goats too.
Goats too.
Um, yeah. So where's these job board?
So the job boards
Just gonna
are
go to
in
the first person I could find and ask.
the smack in the middle, number 19.
Excellent.
I did make a character sheet for you, and you can edit it so you could throw a picture in if you had one. If not, we could just actually I could probably just drag your character as it is. Nope. Oh yeah, there you go. That's you for now, unless you have a picture handy.
Not at the moment.
Okay, you're the blue
Okay, so
blob.
I'm over here at 19 then.
Yes. Um. So yeah, you head on to where the job board is. It's a large, like giant park on this part of the island. There's uh, different like fields for like activities and stuff like the in-game equivalent to like the parks with like football fields, soccer fields, baseballs, all of that are on more on the outside. The inside's more of the strolling with like walking paths, and in the very middle, like there's a giant like plaza, and in the middle of the plaza, there's like a gazebo looking thing that's like an octagon, and it's a job board, and each face is technically a different style of quest. Like escorts on one of them, like um, what was the one like pretty much like target kill something and like get the reward or like collect this amount of stuff is on a different side. You get the gist. Like
Yeah.
so
The escort board sounds interesting. I could use an escort.
all right, so yeah, you end up clicking like the job board, you like activate it and the little HUD pops up and it's a whole bunch of like those little like square but rounded corners pop up with but with a whole bunch of like little text on them. But before you can look at any of those, a larger one pops up in the middle of your screen. Um, and you have it says, "Hey, new priority quest," and it labeled by get Sir Gale Glavinus, style.
That down.
Huh? What?
Just writing that down on my hand, so I remember that.
Oh, it's so the in game. It's kind of like you have. It's kind of like when you're playing an RPG, and then to get into menus, you have a little HUD that pops up. So like, if you select it or whatever, it goes saved into your quest log that you have. I haven't developed too much of what the HUD actually does, but it has like, a map, a quest log, friends list, and stuff. Like you can message anyone who you're friends with in game. You can direct message them, that type of thing, unless they're unable to receive at the current time for various reasons. So that's the type of stuff. So you normally see like the HUD when it comes to like yeah, the job boards one. When you come to shops, it's pretty much just like HUD pops up and you can scroll through the wares and stuff. To give it that little extra video game feel.
Okay.
It's something that I forgot to do. I started it up a way back when, and then or I introduced it and then forgot about it, and then forgot to enforce it, and then started to do it more as of late, or go back to it. But yeah, so you if you want to read more, you can click on the priority one. But yeah, it tells you who is by the very like the first like sentence of the description, and it tells you like the style is escort, because like meta wise, if you clicked on any of the job boards, it wasn't that like specific to escort. Priority quests will pop up, so that's why it states what kind of quest it is.
Okay, so the message basically reads, Gail Glavin is looking for escort to Ahkasai.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
the very
something in there about killing a troll.
you don't see that yet. You only see that.
Okay,
I mean, when you click it,
well,
then you'll get the
I'll
full
click it and read the
description.
details.
All right, Gail, what does it say?
All right. Adventurers wanted. Aid in slaying a troll in the mountains to clear the mountain pass for the kingdom's trade routes between Quoth and Ahkasai. The official kingdom insignia of Brockheart is listed there, as this is a quest that you'll be partaking under the Knights of Brockheart, along with the signature of Sir Gale Glavinus there. Quite fancy. Payment is to be discussed upon application.
Yeah. So
Oh, also, we have to arrive safely in Ahkasai, of course, for it to be a successful quest, and you have to return to Quoth for the payment.
yeah, so being it's a priority quest and stuff like, or I mean, all the quests have like customization stuff, and it looks like the old parchment, and it has his name at the bottom, and it has like the wax blob with the seal stamp on it, and it's you don't know if you actually know Brockheart, but it's a seal of a different kingdom, not one that you've seen at the city.
But it does sound fancy. It's at least worth investigating.
That's very fancy.
Literally, I just want him to say it again because he wrote it out. So I'm like, all right, might as well make him say it as many times as possible. So
Where
yeah,
do I
go ahead. What?
where do I find this Gale Glavinus? Does it say in the text of the message?
So from your knowledge, if you accept it, it will give you like locations and stuff afterwards.
Sure.
So yeah, you accept it, and it's your active quest or whatever. So it has like you have a little like
Follow the HUD.
waypoint thing that you can follow and stuff like that. So you do that, right? Or you accepting it?
Absolutely.
All right. And then
Any help I can get getting over there will be greatly beneficial.
very true. So yeah, you go from the job board and you start making your way towards the palace. Gail, we're gonna jump to you.
Yes. Is it time to start interviewing again?
Yes, it's the morning of day 3. You leave tomorrow.
To the office.
I guess
we should
you
get
get up
breakfast.
You get up and you head downstairs, and one out of the two knights are there. Not both of them this time.
Oh, where's night number 2? You guys don't have names yet.
After you sit down, he ends up like walking down the stairs, right behind you. Just not at the same time, but yeah, he got up around the same time as you. The other one he's the one who got up early this time.
Ah, so I see. You're bright and early. Are you just excited to start interviewing new candidates for the job as I am? I say to the one who was at the table before me.
He goes, I wish. I literally can't. I wake up the same time every day. I can't sleep any longer.
Not a bad quality. That means you're consistent.
Like, yeah, that's true. And as you sit down, your food comes. The other knight sits down next to you. He's like, so, boss, you think we're gonna get many adventures today?
No. Of course. We're the Knights of Brockheart. I'm sure people are lining up like crazy to come here. It's just, maybe there just aren't as many adventures around these parts. We're getting about one a day, that's something. But yes, we're going to get adventures. Rest assured, young knight.
I hope so. I mean, we only know about one troll, but family of trolls, only 5 of us. Might be a little on the scary side. Hopefully we get a couple more.
A group of trolls? Yes, to err on the side of caution is it's a wise choice. We should anticipate there being more than one. Although, Zon the Giant is only aware of one, where there is one, there may be more. Let's keep that in mind while interviewing candidates.
Very true, very true. The other night jumps up like, so no race today. Last time it made my stomach a little uneasy, but he takes his last bite. He's like, I am done, and I see you're not.
Oh, I scarf it down.
Roll a d20.
That's the race. This is the real race.
Roll a Constitution save and throw.
$20, non-nat.
All right, you successfully scarf down your food at the fact that he said he's done, and you don't get a tummy ache.
No.
So you finish your food. The last night actually just receives his food, and he kind of looks at you guys both, and he's like, you guys go on ahead. I'll meet up with you when I'm done eating.
I'll take your word for that. If there are any issues, young knight, make it be known. We will be at the office.
He looks, he's like, I'm sure I can eat, this wonderful breakfast without any issues. No worries, boss.
All right. I nod, and I take the other knight with me.
So yeah, you guys head on in. You get to the palace. Nothing eventful going on along the way, and you go and wait in the interview room. All right, we're gonna do gnome face, and then we're gonna figure out scheduling wise.
Okay.
So yeah, you
wake up in the morning.
Yep.
Get my free breakfast.
Excellent.
Once my free breakfast is done, I don my civilian gear. The outfit I wear in my little picture.
Yes.
I don't don my armor, and then I head to the palace again.
So you headed there first thing in the morning?
Yep.
Okay.
What I told the nice lady I would do, so that's what I'm doing.
All right. Okay, so Sven, were you expecting to arrive early morning, or were you expecting to arrive like middle of the day? I'm giving you the option. Early morning? Okay.
The sooner I can get to the interview, the sooner I can get back out side of walls.
Fair. Okay, so in that terms, I'm gonna say that you and Gnome Face actually arrive at the palace gate at the same time. So Gnome Face in front of you is a halfling, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Still taller than me.
You guys
Halflings are taller than gnomes.
Okay, you guys describe what you see to what each other sees, because I may forget. So
If you look at my picture, it's down in Old Quoth right now. I look like that, except for my rapier is sheathed in my on my side. And yep, that's huge now. And I am a gnome,
You're a
so
kaiju.
I'm a what?
You're a kaiju.
Oh, now I am. I'm a gnome, so I'm approximately 2 feet tall. And yeah, that's what I look like. All suave and tiny.
I am not nearly as suave. Been living in the woods for I can't even remember how long, and I look like it. Old clothes patched together with other pieces of old clothes. Goat looks fresh though. Um, Short bow across my back. Uh, Short spear along my side. A couple daggers in my belt. Other than that, not carrying a whole lot. I mean, a few quivers of arrows, but pay no mind to those.
I kind of actually, no offense, but I pay no mind to you at all. I don't know you. I just see some dirty old bum with a bow on his back, and I'm like, eh. And I head to the palace gates, and when I see the lady that I talked to yesterday,
Not yet.
take my hat off, and I do my little
Not yet.
swirl, and I bow.
Not yet.
Okay, never mind. Oh, never mind.
No, so essentially, like, okay, the palace is in front of, like next to you. You guys are both like walking in from like two different roads. You're like coming together, and you see the person across from you, and you're like, oh, okay, maybe, or like you see someone's across from you, and then you both like turn up the palace walkway through the gate at the same time, and you start walking. You know, not necessarily. I mean, you're not paying attention to the person walking next to you. You're like, yeah, whatever. Then you may or may not be like noticing or paying attention, but you both end up keep like walking. I mean, it's a large walkway. It's a palace, and so you get to the end, and the the doors are there to get inside, and you open. You both one's who's on the left and who's on the right. Either of you
I'd be
here.
on the right.
Matter?
All right, Sven's on the right. No, Fizzy on the left. No, I don't know if it matters. It's up to you guys. Anyways, you guys both get to the doors and you open your door at the same time, and you both like are literally like walking side by side, not necessarily trying to. You're minding your own business, and you both get to this secretary at the same time, and she looks at you guys and she's like, "Oh, hello, you two. How can I help you guys?"
So when we get to the secretary, I do my, elegant hat swirl and my bow, and I go, hello, miss. I am here for my interview with Sir Gale Glavinus. We spoke yesterday.
Sven, I don't know if you actually want to say something at the same time, or if you like notice he starts
Same
saying.
time, I just say howdy. I'm here to talk to Gail about a job.
Fair.
No suave mannerisms whatsoever. Just as blunt as can be.
That works. So she kind of like pauses, looks at both of you, and she's like, I'm assuming you're not adventuring together, but you're both looking for Gale. If you go ahead down the hallway to my left, keep walking that way, and get past two doors, take a left. There's a waiting area there, and his room is right, through the door there. He will come out and get you. Feel free to go ahead.
I want to wait until after Ben has gone farther a little bit, and then I kind of want to go to the attendant lady, and I go, "Do you know anything about that guy? He might be my competition for getting this quest."
She goes, no, sir. I just had it. No, sir. I have no idea who he is, as I have no idea who you are. All I can tell you is I don't know how many people are allowed on the quest. Maybe more, maybe a bunch of them. I'm just here to point people in the right direction to get to the room.
Okay. Uh, Thank you for your information and your candidness. I bow again, and then I turn and head towards where she pointed me.
All right. So Sven, you walk into this like waiting area. You know, it's a but kind of like larger, like squarish room. I'm picturing a like dentist waiting area for some reason. Yeah, it essentially like there's a table in the middle with like plants on the side or in the corners or whatever, kind of to make it look nice. It's in the palace. It has to look nice. And there's a bunch of chairs around. You can see that it's designed for this purpose. Maybe not. I don't know how familiar you are with internal city stuff, but like that's the way it looks. And you see the door is actually open. So like there's not necessarily a meeting going on. Or you don't know if there's a meeting, but the door is open. Necessary. Yeah.
All right. I'll dismount my goat, tie him to one of those table legs,
Yeah.
so it doesn't wander off.
Your
Oh,
goat
did
was
they have
outside.
goat parking? I didn't.
Your goat was outside. It was at the gate of the palace.
Oh, okay.
I forgot
This
about
is a
that. My
classy
apologies.
establishment. I didn't
Yes,
know.
yes, it's a classy palace.
Nice.
All right. Well, then I will.
I
I'll
appreciate
walk
that.
in.
All right. So Donnie, you're in the room. One of your knights is to the behind you to the right, and the financial person who deals with the money is to your right. And you're sitting there. You guys are just chatting. It's early morning. You same old, same old. And you see this person or this figure walk into the doorway.
Look him up and down. What do I see?
What does he see?
Again, just a woodsy fella, probably no more than 3 feet tall. Clothing just a patchwork of old rags, basically sewn together by hand. But a decent looking short bow and a short spear, couple daggers, and a few quivers full of arrows.
I look over to the knight to me. I say, "You see, sometimes the disenfranchised folk of the city wander around. They find themselves in the wrong places. You know, it's the knight's duty to help them sort things out. Mister, old man, may I assist you?" I shout.
Uh, yeah. Actually, if you could help me find this Gale fella I'm supposed to talk to.
"Oh, oh, that's me. Are you an adventurer?"
Of sorts. Uh, Seems you guys are going to Ahkasai.
"Yes, we are."
Uh, I'm also interested in going to Ahkasai. Seems like we could be mutually beneficial.
"Oh, well, since that's your destination and you're interested in this quest, you'll understand if you have to explain what you bring to the table. There's only so much room in a caravan."
Oh, absolutely. Although I do have my own mount out back. They're not allowed in the palace. Anyway, uh, you guys have a lot of healers?
No. No, we do not.
So
Is that your
sounds like
specialty?
one of a couple. I, I
Hmm.
make I make medicine. Call them potions, but I can heal people when they need it.
And often they do during dangerous ventures like these. What manner of healing is this? Is it just potions, or is it something a bit more bizarre?
Just an injection.
Injection. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna have to stop you there. What do you mean injection?
Well, the problem with taking potions or pills is it takes so long. You have to drink them, wait for it to get dissolved, and all that. The injection just cuts to the point.
Yeah, cut. Point. Keywords there. Are you sure it's safe?
Sure.
No. And would you be willing to apply such a tincture to yourself?
I have.
I squint my eyes. No, okay. We'll wait and see if this injection thing pans out. What other specialties do you have?
Some of the injections aren't so nice.
Okay. Okay, I like this part. It's not what you're gonna be shoving into me. But into the troll.
I've never hunted a troll before. I'm very curious to see what some of these concoctions will do to them.
Oh. And what do you have?
All manner of special concoctions. Just my favorite is the confusion. It just gets into their system. They don't know which way is up. They don't know who their friends are, who their enemies are.
I,
Useful.
I look over to the knight next to me. If there are a pack of trolls, indeed confusion could be a very beneficial quality to bestow upon them.
Wait, there's a pack of trolls.
No. I was whispering that.
He responds to you and he's like, "Yeah, you know, they might find each other enemies as well as us. That's a very interesting concept." And while this is all going on, like while you start whispering, like the other knight ends up walking in.
Pardon there. Mr. Didn't you get your name?
Me?
Yes.
Sven.
Sven, please make way for my other knight apprentice.
No,
Sure.
Sven is sitting down. The knight just literally walks in and walks to his spot. He's not interrupting anything as long as you don't stop the conversation to acknowledge. You could just do like a little head nod, say welcome, or say, "Hey, I notice you," or something.
I welcome. Let's do a head nod.
But I
Okay,
assumed
Sven.
you would have asked Sven to come sit down and discuss with you because you're a honorable knight.
Yes, of course. I wouldn't just have him stand there. Being an old man and all, I assumed he needed some help to begin with. Anyways, Sven. Confusion's great. Healing is excellent. Do you have any other surprises in store?
There's one concoction that seems to send whatever it's injected into a sort of a frenzy.
I'm not sure if we're going to need that one.
It could be useful.
Wouldn't want to see a troll in a frenzy. By the way, we only know of one troll. I don't know what you've heard.
I've only heard the one.
Yeah, so just stay calm and assess the situation as it comes. When you'll be joining us on Friday. Congratulations, you're in.
Oh, okay. That's Friday. That's 2 days from now, right? Tomorrow.
Yes, 9:00. Fairly early, but not too early.
In game technically doesn't have Sunday through Saturday, but in terms of keeping it easy to remember, I said it was Friday, and now today is Thursday.
All right. So tomorrow at 9.
Yes.
I'll see where Where will I be meeting you?
There was a city gate, right?
No, you'll be meeting at the palace beforehand.
At the palace. So pretty much here. But like at the front desk.
Yeah, correct. Pretty much, yeah.
Anyways,
Excellent. I will see you then.
it's been a pleasure, Sven. Gail
Yes,
Glavinus, glad to have you with us.
I suppose it would be more of a
Oh yeah. Shaking down.
oh,
Okay, so
Yeah, wait.
I suspect you get up and walk on out then.
I'll head out.
So you're just about at the doorway, and Gail, you hear someone clear their throat who's sitting on the right hand side of your desk.
Is it the knight that just came in?
No,
Oh. I look over.
it's the guy who's in charge of the rewards. He's like,
Oh, hey. Wait, get back in here. Get back in here.
What was that?
You need to discuss rewards with this fellow over here.
Oh, we're
Sort
getting
of past
paid?
my mind. Yes, there's a quest manager who's he's not with the knights, but you need to talk to him after this meeting. He's right here.
Okay.
he kind of like looks at you. He's like, hello, yeah, um, I am from a representative of the city of Quoth, and I'm in charge of making sure that our adventurers feel well compensated for their action or for their agreement to help out Sir Gale Glavinus. Um, is there anything that you more or less specialize in, or would like? Not necessarily in terms of funds. I mean, we could work with that, but we could appreciate you better if it was more of a commodity or um like using our leverage necessarily is like you want to get into the archery school, the prestigious archery school that we have here in town. Do you want to get a handful of specific like books or something? We have more possibilities in that way than necessarily just funds. I mean, we're just a kind of flourishing trading town that we just like to make sure the citizens get the most that they get, and they can help us provide for other people or for the adventurers helping.
Getting to visit Ahkasai was going to be its own reward, but this just sweetens the pot. Uh, when I get back, I'd like to hear more about that archery school.
Oh yes,
Sounds interesting.
you'd be the second person. We can grant you a letter or recommendation that will just smooth things over into your acceptance letter. No, it covers the cost of the school as well. That's just a bit of it too.
Okay.
I do have to state you have to return to Quodith in order to receive your reward.
I mean, I did plan on surviving, so that shouldn't be a problem. Thank you for your time.
That's good. At 9 o'clock, you'll be signing the paperwork, and we'll give you the token that you must return in order to receive your reward. But details of that will be explained to the group tomorrow morning.
Mhm.
So now you're free to after that conversation, you shake hands with him, Gail, if you wish to again.
Sure.
And you head on out to the waiting area, and you see the gnome that walked in with you, or at the same time as you, is sitting down. And you feel free to just head on out. Say anything, I don't know if you want to. If you don't say anything, you just head on out.
I think they're ready to talk to you.
I go, good. They saved the best for last.
That'll be interesting.
Even though it's not even noon yet.
Hey, don't ruin my jazz.
I mean, we don't know how long he could interview for.
You got a point. I could take forever.
Just weed out the competition via time extension.
Just keep talking about random shit.
I can cast this particular spell 10 different ways.
I don't think I have anything I can cast 10 ways yet.
Okay.
I'm getting there, though.
I'm ready to have an interview.
The DM died. Or did you die?
He
died.
Muted. He's muted.
Oh, he's probably talking to his wifey.
Yeah.
So I put a link in the general. If you guys didn't see it, it's for a comedian. The guy is fucking hilarious. You guys got to watch that video.
All right. I'll give it a check out.
I mean, at the very, we could drive.
Oh, it's on Facebook.
Head to
Do I need an account?
Drive up, or
you don't have a Facebook account?
Head down to Milwaukee, take the train all the way up
nice.
there.
That's
deleted
weird.
it.
We can just
I deleted it a long time ago.
I believe you need an account, or you could just look him up. His name is Josh something.
Oh,
He's
okay.
probably on YouTube.
You don't need an account.
Drive the 9 hours.
It just took forever to load on my computer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's fucking hilarious.
Okay, I'll check that out after the sesh. Oh, Ken, also, just, I guess, text me some of the things you want to draw on, because I straight up did forget.
A penis. I want you to draw my penis. Oh, shit. I can't say that, can I? I might have to be bleeped.
Yeah, you might. And I need references. I need reference.
I'll give you a reference.
I don't want one. I'm not going to draw it, but that's what I would need.
Yeah, we can discuss a little bit about that when it's more.
I think I just wanted a couple of Zach, like, in his outfit and in, like, street clothes. Like, because he's supposed to have basically light scale armor on, but it's also supposed to kind of look like a ninja suit.
Oh, okay. Light scale.
Yeah.
So kind of like that classic Captain America where his armor is actually scales.
Yeah, kind of like that, but it's really light, like almost like cloth. It's not as heavy as like what Captain America was wearing.
All right.
And yeah, he's supposed to almost look like a ninja. And his colors were green and red, I believe.
Well, I don't really do color.
I know.
Yeah, when he's in Canada.
But that was his color scheme. And then like one in like just civvies, like him just walking around in civvies.
All right. What's his style? Super casual, a bit.
Yeah, yeah. He's
we can figure out
20 in this one. He was originally 18, And then we had 2 years in his
We'll
realm
figure it out,
before he
right?
came to this realm. So yeah, he's 20. So think like 20 casual, maybe flannel and jeans, like a flannel overshirt.
Oh, like not like super casual, like shorts and hoodie.
Yeah. No, not that casual.
Yeah, that's why I
Like
sent her
jeans
like
and
a
like
road
an
type one.
overshirt with like a flannel overshirt.
Okay. All right,
It
I'll
looked
try
just
and
like the
draw
one that
some
was
of
up mine, so
Frequency / Zach Johnson.
I don't know.
We'll see where my drawing takes
Inspiration.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I'm not a fast drawer.
I
So we'll
I
see
know.
if I get around to it.
That's fine.
Yeah, no, I get it.
What do you think of Alloy Man?
Thought it was neat.
Came out looking pretty slick.
Hmm.
Adam, do you have access to the Discord's
You should.
okay, if you go down to powerless section, type powerless or click on powerless or more. I've been posting some art on there pretty
Yeah, that's been
regularly.
cool.
So
Yeah.
I mean that's pretty much what I do. That's my style. And all this stuff, my recent stuff has been for
Okay.
my campaign that we're not going to be running for quite a while. But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's what's been on my mind and what I've been drawing.
Is our DM dead?
No, if you would have looked at the screen, you would have seen that I was talking to Katie.
Oh, well, he did say you muted yourself, so I figured you were talking to Katie, but I just didn't know if you were still talking to Katie.
I mean, they can talk for a while.
Well, I am ready for that interview, Gnome Face.
I am ready to be introduced.
Okay, yeah, so Sven's leaving. He walks past the waiting area towards out of the palace.
Mhm.
No face. You held back
First.
and you waited a little bit. And so you approach and, sit down in the waiting area.
Mhm.
And the door is closed or close enough that you're like, oh, someone, he's probably in there.
Mhm.
While you're sitting down and waiting, doing whatever you feel like doing to pass the time, you see
Mhm.
a knight with armor and like symbol or seal that you recognize. And he walks in to he like gives you a nod, and he goes, are you waiting to interview?
Yes.
Is there currently someone in there?
Yes.
All right. I'll make sure he knows that someone is waiting after this person. And then I thank you for your patience. And then he heads on in, disappears, and some time passes or whatever. You hear some murmurs or whatever. And then the door opens, and then you hear Gail like speak up. Door kind of closes. A little more time passes. Door opens, and the halfling walks past. Says what he says to you, the interaction you guys had, and then he walks on out. And as he's walking down the hallway, the knight who passed prior walks up to the door, and he says, "We're welcome, or we're ready for you."
I stand and I enter
1 second.
and
So yeah, Gale, as the halfling leaves, for the official time this time, the knight says to you, "Oh, there is someone waiting," and he heads to the door to bring in Numpface. So then the knight walks in, walks past you, and then you see. I mean, you can describe what you look like. You guys haven't met yet, or do
look
what
like
you
my
want.
picture.
You're
They
so
just
lazy.
keep getting smaller and smaller.
That's why I picked that picture, so I could be lazy because I like the way it looks. Yeah. I'm about 2 foot tall. I have my big ass hat on and my gear on and my rapier on my side.
Actually, I'm
And
pretty sure
Alright.
forever long ago I picked the picture, so you just agreed to it.
that might
Okay.
be.
I kind of like I try not to sigh too hard because we have had quite a few small candidates come in the past few days. I'm just like, all right, little fella, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself? But be known, this is a dangerous assignment.
When he says little fellow, my face kind of twitches. And is there any like water or anything in the room?
I'm gonna go with the yes. There's multiple glasses. There's 4 different people in there. I'm sure they all have glass of water.
I'm gonna
Are you
summon a
looking
water
like
elemental.
a see-through pitcher?
Yeah, I'm gonna summon a water elemental. And I want to make it, if I can, I want to make it as tall as I possibly can, and just have it kind of glare at the knight who called me little.
You only have like 12 ounces, fluid ounces to work with. So it can be tall, but it's gonna be super skinny.
That's fine.
Okay. Gail, as you're saying that, you notice that all of a sudden the water in your glass. Are you gonna have it hop out of the glass or just in the glass?
Yeah, pop out.
The water kind of like lifts up out of your glass. It's super long and kind of like, I forget. Is your water elemental normally a like humanoid form or like a beast?
Normally, yes.
Okay.
Normally is in a humanid form.
Kind of like the water kind of like stretches out, gets very thin. It's like it's kind of like a Slenderman style, but like it's pretty much tall enough to like get to the ceiling, but it's super skinny, but like it's big.
I wanted to just glare at him.
I after that guy came in and started animating dolls, I'm not having any of it. I punched the water elemental.
Since we're not actually in combat, can I kind of have the water like flow so his hand kind of goes through the middle?
Can I roll a reflex check to straight up punch it and splash him in the face?
Both of your reflex checks.
Wouldn't mind be a wisdom check.
No, because you're reacting to him doing something.
Oh, okay.
11. Don't worry, I rolled low.
22.
I'm gonna say though, instead of you like splitting at the hole, it's actually gonna bend because you don't have enough water to actually split.
Okay, that's fine.
The thing is like a pencil thick, not even.
Yeah.
I raise my eyebrow. I get my fist ready for the next one. What manner of sorcery is this?
I look at him like he's dumb, which I'm guessing he is. And I go, it's called a water elemental. It's one of my many spells. I'm a caster, and I do have quite a bit of damage. And with that, I kind of like make a firebolt appear in my hand. I don't throw it. I just kind of make it appear in my hand.
Hold that thought. Put that thing back in the cup before you dispel it. We don't want to make a mess here.
Gail, as you're doing this, one of the knights kind of leans up to you and whispers like, "Hey, I'm sorry for calling him short."
Oh yeah. Apology for the little comment. I know you people are a little sensitive about that.
I glare at him, but I also know that I want information from this guy, so I can't go around fucking lighting him on fire. So I do as he asks, and I dispel the water as best I can back into the cups.
You see the water elemental kind of like kind of like someone stepping into a shower, kind of like stepping over into the cup and just and kind of a kerplunk.
Okay, I take a deep breath. I'm a bit relieved. I'm like, okay. Not gonna lie, this is impressive. What else can you do?
I eyeball the fireball in my hand.
You can throw that, right? Like it's not going to blow up in your hand, is it?
When he asks that, I smirk and I throw it at him.
I reflexively try to bat it back at him with my fist.
Oh. Roll a reflex
But
check.
I use modify a fist to turn it into what element is resistant to fire?
Besides fire.
Okay. Modify fist to turn my fist into fire.
No.
Well, I
Go to which
reflexively
part?
try to bat it back.
I mean, you could
Got
hit it
13.
back. Nothing's stopping you. It's just
21.
modify.
Damn it.
Okay, you succeed. Modify fist is a full action, so now I'm not gonna let you do that in the time it takes to reflexively.
Ah, fair. Well, I bat it back at him. Maybe singe my fist.
You somehow harness your energy. I mean, being a monk, you can finesse your punch, and you just literally like punch it and send it right back at him.
I'd say, well, does it hit him?
Does it hit
Does
you
it?
in the face?
I don't know. I have an AC of 18. I don't
Roll
know
hit.
how you want to do a.
Honey.
I roll for a reflected projectile.
This is new ground for me, man.
Roll as if you're throwing something. Just -2 to hit.
20.
If you choose not to dispel it, you do get hit. I'm giving you that hint.
Yeah, I dispel it before I get hit. I lose my smirk at the same time though. Like I'm not gonna lie. That was pretty fucking impressive. He just punched my firebolt back at me, even though it was my most basic of basic spells. It's still pretty impressive.
So in
Now
the sequence of
listen here,
events,
young man.
hold on.
Huh?
You guys can talk in a second. So the sequence of events is Gil called you a little person, a derogatory word. You made a water elemental happen, and was bragging about your firebolt. He tried to punch your water elemental, then said, "I'm sorry." You dropped the water. You threw a firebolt. He ended up punching it back, and as it's getting to you, it's just by the time it hits you, it's just like hot air that rushes past you, kind of like blows your hat up a little bit, so it's no longer seated on your head. Your hair just like what willows or or whatever
Billows.
willows in the wind. Yeah, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. Same with like
Billows.
Billows.
billows. Yeah,
With a
okay.
B.
Billows. I was close. And also you're like your clothing kind of like just you kind of like push back in your seat and you're like, whew, that was close. And kind of cool. And
Yeah.
like, all right.
I'm just stand up, put my hands on my hips. Now, you listen here, young man. Don't be flinging that in unsafe directions during an interview.
You asked if I could throw it.
Okay, well, I didn't need a demonstration in the office.
Well, would you believe my words or my actions? Which one's better proof?
I believed everybody else who came in here and told me what they could do.
Well, I don't
At-
know what happened before I came in here.
At this moment, while he's standing up, you do recognize, just like with the other, like you're talking, but like your eyes aren't necessarily focused all the time on him. You do recognize that armor from Brockheart.
I recognize his armor.
No face does. Because now that
Like
he's
from the
standing up,
guards at
you
Brockheart?
can actually see the armor he's wearing because he's in uniform, and you can like compare it to the two knights as you know they're standing next to him, and they all look familiar, as if they're knights of Brockheart because you've seen them in the palace numerous times or whatever. You just know. So
Well, this reinforces me wanting to, get information from this guy.
continue with your banter
so-
on. He said you wanted the.
Yeah,
I just want to interject.
You wanted me to throw it. Yeah, you asked me to throw it.
Well, listen, we knights have safety standards, rules and regulations. They exist for a reason.
It was just a basic firebolt. I couldn't even burn a curtain with that one unless I put more power into it.
I shake my hand off after the one that I used to punch it back. I beg to differ. Anyways, that is useful, especially for keeping yourself out of danger. But do expect danger. Trolls are nothing to be trifled with. What experience do you have with threats like that?
I kind of start listing off on my fingers. First thing I fought was a giant skeleton minotaur. Then I fought beholders. Then I fought a spirit, I think it was.
Wraith.
Then I fought the king of a wraith. And then I fought the king of a country.
Okay, hold
and
on.
then I just keep going as he's saying, holding on. And then I fought some bandits. And then I fought some pirates. And then I got my ass whipped by a tentacle.
Stop! I get it. You're an experienced traveler, and assuming you don't throw those projectiles at us one more time, I'd be glad to have you. What's your name?
I look at him and I go, when he says, don't throw those projectiles at us, and I go, I make no guarantees. My name is Gnome Face.
It's an interesting title. I think
Not
I've heard
title, it's a name.
Sounds familiar. Anyways.
Quite famous in Brockheart, which is actually why I came to see you. Though your quest does sound interesting, and I may be tempted to assist you in said quest, as long as you can answer my questions about how the hell I get back home to Brockheart.
Well, that is indeed a matter for a knight to concern himself with, and I might be able to assist you with that after this quest. But anyways, I'm Sir Gale Glavenus, and until 9 o'clock tomorrow, our business is concluded.
I go, you don't get to just dismiss me. I don't work for you.
I've got other interviewees. It's a very busy job.
You haven't even told me what you're paying me. I ain't doing this shit for free.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah.
That's where I come in.
I look at whoever just spoke and I go,
he's
okay.
to your left. You notice a guy that's actually sitting at the same desk, just on the left-hand side, versus Gale being behind it.
I was thinking he's there.
Okay, well, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm a representative from Quota, or from the Lord of Quota, and we are here to, or I'm here to, provide the funding for this excursion.
So we're helping the city out, huh? That means you got good resources, better than the alchemist lady who I just did a job for.
She's still posting that stuff.
It was an easy job.
Well, yes. It sounds like you've worked with some cities beforehand.
Well, I am part of a guild in Brockheart, yes. So I do have experience working for upper management, as it's could be stated.
Yes. That is where our, knights, as I heard you've realized, are from, and it's a mutual. We're helping them out, and so the Sir Gale would need. They're helping us out, so we are providing the funding for the extra adventures on this trip. So,
cool.
Is there anything that the town can help you with? The offhand, do you know, or what things do you desire? I'll see.
My eyes sparkle, and I get that grin back just like I had before throwing the fireball bolt at Gale, and I go, magic.
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 There's a chance. I mean, we won't be too helpful in the terms of magic, But I mean, you are headed to Ahkasai, and that's the most magic I've seen in one place. So,
Well, then give me a recommendation letter for the best magic place in Ahkasai, and then I'll be good. Of course, you'll have to give it to me before I go to Ahkasai. Can't really accept payment afterwards.
how does the magic school sound?
Oh no, I've got a teacher back home, and she'd probably kill me if I learned from somebody who's not as advanced as she is. She's kind of an old bat. Um, how about magic item making specifically? I am learning to enchant.
What? Ooh, actually, I have an idea. You
Is this you
said
as a
that
DM or you as the NPC?
both.
Okay.
He goes, you're from Brockheart, correct?
Yes.
And you're planning on coming back here on your way to Brockheart, correct?
As far as I know, I have talked to the shipyards, and they said there's a chance, not anytime soon, but eventually I can book passage on a boat back to Brockheart. That's my goal.
How about I should ask beforehand, what is your current enchanting setup like at home?
I do jewel enchantment. I don't have anything set up at home. They're supposed to be working on my guild house before I left, but yeah, then I got thrown across the ocean. I actually have to use the bathroom, so I will be right back.
Oh,
I really gotta pee. I've been holding it in for a minute.
okay.
You should have went while it was Sven's turn.
Oh man, we've been making good time on this session. Wow.
Yeah, I knew I had to just limp my way to this part, and then I could kick my feet back for a little bit. All right, Sven, what would you like to do after your interview?
Head outside the city gates, see if there are any herbs I can collect, any particularly useful flowers, maybe specific tree barks, what have you. Anything of medicinal value.
Okay. Are you looking more towards so when you outside the gate, like the way you came in? I guess the way you came in would be more of you'd find more herbs that are local to like seaside stuff. But if you went out like the gate to the south, which is number 1, the top of the page, yeah, that one is towards the mountains. So you'd find herbs that are more towards rockiness, like rock, yeah, and that type of stuff, or high. I mean, you have like half a day to search around for stuff. I'd say roll a d20 plus 4, plus 5, and that's how many herbs you find during the day. We can figure out this next week what they go to.
All right, 10. I mean, I imagine I've had better days of foraging.
And depending upon where your history is, you may have found some new
Okay.
stuff or whatever. We can come up with stuff like that.
I am back.
Okay, so the guy's it's pretty much asking like, he's like, okay, so you do a lot of jewels enchanting. I'm not
Yep.
too familiar, but is there like any setup stuff? Like, if you had a workstation,
A gem cutter. I need to learn how to cut gems so that I can cut my own gems instead of having to pay to get them done. And the better the cut on the gem, the better the enchantment I can pull off.
so like a gem cutter, maybe like an altar, like a stone holder, like something so that it's easier for you to enchant type of thing versus you holding in your hand. Like,
Actually, I find holding it in my hand is better because then the magic flows. I can channel it and flow it through my system, and it's easier for me to manage rather than outside enchanting. But yeah, something for holding while I'm cutting, a good light source so I can get the right angles on the gems, stuff like that. I still have yet to learn the proper way to cut a gem, but anything to help me out on that would be nice. Or,
Okay.
new enchanting recipes. My teacher doesn't really teach me my enchanting.
So I will say, the Ahkasai is very well known for their gems and their magic. So the best I could do is communicate with them to get you some pretty much hardware for your home setup that can get sent back to Brockheart.
I'll take it.
He jots down a note. Like, okay. We will discuss, and I'll have you sign all the fine details and everything tomorrow at 9. You may finish your interview with Sir Gale.
Oh, Mr. Gnomeface,
Yes.
I'll be glad to see you at 9 tomorrow, but I do apologize. I believe we got off on the wrong foot. I would like to ask, with most respect, how fares your guild of late?
How fair is my guild?
Yes.
Well, I think I'm the only one left. So pretty fair.
You can't be.
Meta-wise, you do know that after you parted ways with Toriel, that a woman matching her description dropped some money off in the time that you were in Ashbourne.
I do not remember that, but okay.
That's why I said
I'll take it.
meta-wise,
I go, well, I read states. I'm the only really active member left. There's my girlfriend plus a friend who's part of the guild, but she kind of just comes and goes whenever she pleases. And my other founder of the guild vanished in the ocean.
I nod grimly. Take a second to pause. Say, very well. If you need assistance, return to Brockheart. I would be glad to aid you in that. This is the most unfortunate news. The Guild of Brockheart was a rising star.
I go, well, we'll find out. I got plenty of questions for you on this trip. So make sure you make yourself available, or I might come with a little more water than I had last time. And then I activate Spark in one hand, and I go, this time it'll be special water.
Finding myself far less eager to assist this adventurer.
I smile, and I go, see you at 9, boss.
Yes, at 9.
And with that, I walk out.
FYI, both Sven and Gnomeface, you did get a little notification, like a little ping in the HUD area that says your quest has been updated as you left the room.
As I'm walking out, I kind of poke my head back in, whether he notices or not. I go, oh, there's a guy coming, name's Bruce. Pretty decent tank. Hire him if you want, your choice, but worked with him yesterday. Though he's a bit dim, he can take some damage and deal it out.
Dim I'll take over a smart aleck any day. Bring him in.
I want to try something. You can tell me if this works or not, but I want to use Rain Dance, but I want to specifically do it over his head as I'm walking out, so he doesn't see me doing the hand gestures to cast it and everything. Shower dance. But I want to make a cloud of rain up here right above his head.
Gonna roll perception and then reflex check.
Well, I don't know if GM will let me do it or not.
I don't think you're just generally high enough level to do it behind like walls and stuff. So I'm gonna say you find a way that like you can just see him, but like you're like.
Well, I mean, like as I'm as I'm poking my head around, and then he makes that comment about being a smart aleck, I kind of cast it while I'm around the corner, and then I turn around and walk away.
All right, I was trying to help you, but yeah, roll a perception. A 15.
Yes.
You notice it after it happened. I won't say you see him. You say it by, and then you turn to talk to like the knights, like you've done on every other time. And then you notice the rain like falling out above your head, and then you turn immediately to the door just to check, but he's gone by that point.
I try to mitigate the wetness by stepping outside of the rain cloud. Good grief. That one's going to be a handful.
Hey, you don't know it was me.
Kind of want to say it's just like the cartoons where it follows you around, but it's positioned above your chair.
God damn it.
I can't make a following rain cloud yet. Not that good with it.
After a minute, it disappears, and everything's wet. But...
Okay. Give me a second. I dab everything with the towel. Okay. Now bring him in.
I don't know who you're talking to.
I'm talking about Bruce, the next interviewee.
He didn't know if he was there. He was just saying that he's
I don't know
today.
if Bruce is there or not. No.
Oh, okay. I thought you were implying he was there. Okay, never mind.
Speaking of which, No Face, you bump into Bruce, figuratively, as you're walking down the hallway.
Go, hey Bruce, going for your interview?
Hey, No Face, yeah, I had to take care of some stuff this morning, but I'm here now. So did you make it?
Oh yeah, guy's he's handy and he's got some skill. I say, no, with a touch of admiration in my voice because he really did impress me by backhanding my firebolt back at me. But I put in a good word for you. Hopefully you get the job.
Thank you. I knew you'd get it. Like, looking forward to seeing you on the quest. I hope it's soon. I hope we don't have to wait a week before it starts.
Oh, it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Excellent.
Yep.
And you see him kind of like hurry up down the hallway. He's like, I'll see you tomorrow, Ron.
Sounds good. And I head out.
Gail, you're sitting there talking to the knights and about like, hey, we just got 2 new recruits today. Today's been a great day. Like, hell yeah. Just then, like, a big... I don't want to like keep growing him every time I talk about him, but didn't I say like 6'9" the first time?
Yeah, something like that.
He 6'9" guy walks through, like, bursts through the door. Like, the door wasn't closed, but like he might have elbowed it just to make louder noise or whatever. Full plate mail, a shield that goes up from like his nipple down to the ground. Just he almost can't even walk straight through the door. That he like the reason why he burst through the door is he hit the plate mail on his door as he was trying to walk forward and then headed to like side shuffle inward.
You're a big guy, like
like he looks big, but then you take into consider his height, and he's just like, oh, he's just jacked. But you can't see it because he's wearing full plate mail.
I kind of just I rub my hands under my desk, like finally we got a big one. I'm like, okay, yes. Another adventure.
He bursts in. He's like, hey, I am looking for Sir Gale.
That's me.
Excellent. And he walks over and kind of like plops on the chair. You kind of, everyone kind of gets like a little, like, takes like a, kind of like flinches on the whole fact that, like, they don't know if the chair's going to hold up. Like I said, a big person, little like chair, and that's a lot of weight and full plate mail.
All right. So, you've read the job description. You understand the perils of this quest.
I heard we go from here to Ahkasai and back, and we cut the heads off some trolls along the way. Pretty much it.
you're very casual about this. They're trolls. Have you dealt with trolls before?
He stands his shield up again. Have you seen this thing?
Fair enough. I would ask what your qualifications are, but I believe you wear it on your shoulder.
Ooh. There's not enough room in here. I could show you.
Describe it, maybe? I don't want to be responsible for damages to this office.
Okay. You've seen a top before, right?
Things to spin.
Yeah, they spin really fast, whatever. Now take that. Put a giant, like, flat piece of a flat blade on top. Like they're cutting boards in half. And then spin it.
Oh.
Ah, you got it right. Yep. Yep, I can see it in your
I
face.
like that one. I like that one. That's a good one. Like this imagery. I like you. What's your name?
Bruce is the name. Don't you forget it, man.
I don't think I will. I don't think I could. Anyways, yeah, definitely. You're in, of course. Right, guys?
I'm going to be shooting lightning bolts at a bunch of people, ain't I?
Look
might.
at this guy. Of course he's in. Anyways, we'll be glad to see you at 9 tomorrow, Bruce.
Well, one of the knights actually stops and puts his hand. He's like, I see that you're big, but can you take a hit? Like, can you take more than like 2 hits? Because I mean, there's a couple of us on the front line, and you have to take numerous hits because we have our group is consist of a lot of like attackers, not so many defenders. Sorry, boss, but like it's important.
Interjection. Fair interjection. Yes. Can you take a hit, Bruce?
Like, if they can still get past my shield, yes, I do have numerous hit points, looking towards close to 200, that I should take quite a bit of hits.
200 is a pretty big number. I mean, that answers that question. Any other questions, fellas? I look to the knights beside me.
You hear someone clear their throat next to you.
Yes?
I do have
Something on your mind.
Yes. Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir Bruce, I am the representative of Kodith. And it sounds like that you are a shoo-in for part of the team. What interests you in terms... My dog is having a dream. What interests you in terms of a reward? Bruce kind of like thinks for a second. He's like, well, do you have any extra land here? This isn't the first time I've been in and out of Kodith. And I don't think it's the last. I really enjoy the city and might want to think of making it my, more permanent place of residence.
Imagine Bruce eating casually while discussing this.
Yep. And the representative is like, yeah, actually we do have a fair bit of land that inside the city that has been, vacated and whatever. Sure, we can find a plot for you. And he jots that down in the notes or whatever. And Bruce is like, excellent. He's like, well, he goes out, shakes Bruce, or the representative shakes Bruce's hand, and he's like, "Oh, excellent, Sir Gale. Sorry to interrupt, but back on you now."
Well, Bruce, we, with the Knights of Brockheart, will be glad to have you tomorrow during our voyage to Ahkasai.
He's like, "Excellent." He's like, "Let me add you on this thingamajig," and he pops up the HUD, and you get a little notification saying, "Hey, you are a friend request incoming, whatever."
Friend request. I suppose I accept.
I mean, had more than one on this. Well, you've had message requests, but more than one on this occasion. So yeah. And then he heads on out of their office like, "Well, I'll see you guys in the morning."
See you then.
And he heads on off.
Nice.
One of the knights goes to you. He's like, "Hey, boss. Don't know if
Yes.
you realize this, but it's like we missed lunch."
Oh, geez. What time is it?
For you, it's kind of like later in the day. Like when Gnome Face got done, it was like noon. So it's like 3 p.m.
I told you, as soon as news got round that the Knights of Brockheart were taking on quests, we would have a very busy day, and we had one. Well, we best get to eating.
So it's up to you whether or not you want to make me come up with another adventure for you to interview or not, or just call it after that one. But so you can either go out for lunch and then just hang out for the rest of the day, or you can go out to lunch and come back.
Actually, how much room is on a caravan? I ask the quest manager.
He goes, "Well, so we do have the caravan going there, but each of you still will need a mount. I guess like 2 or 3 of you guys could be in the caravan. I mean, the caravan is actually, you're escorting the caravan in itself.
Yeah.
For at least part of the ways. The caravan's there more to give you, hold supplies for you guys. And bring it to Ahkasai.
Hmm. And in your experience with escort quests, what did you say? Just under 10. Usually a pretty adequate amount, right?
I don't know. Because I don't leave this palace. Not very often.
Oh, never mind then. Yeah, okay. Oh, are either of you guys not hungry?
They both go, "No, we're starving."
I think we're good for quests. I think we're good for adventurers. Let's go grab a bite, fellas.
You could grab a bite and come back for like an hour or so. I was just wondering if you were coming back or not.
Yeah, I'll grab a bite, and on the way, I suppose maybe we could stop by a local bookstore and pick up some reading material on trolls. You know, just read a little bit about trolls during our downtime.
Not a bad option. Okay, Sven, you're foraging.
Yep.
As it gets later in the day, were you planning on staying in the city or staying outside the city?
Depends on if I can find any trees. Doesn't look like there's too many trees to the oh, that's right, this map's dyslexic. So that's the south. I'll probably head back in and find some place to stay. I don't like sleeping on the ground.
Okay. So 17 is, there's a bunch of hotels around there. That's what I've been using for gnome face. And actually Bruce as well. Place doesn't offer dinner, free breakfast though. Has a washroom on a community washroom on each floor. Pretty basic.
Probably
It's
about the
an
time
old
I
building.
visit one of those.
I mean, they do a privacy. There's privacy. It's the one for the floor. All right. So you finish foraging. You make your way there. Gnome face. What do you want to do for the rest of the day? When you get done, Bruce walks in. I say that was about noon. Yeah, because Sven was first.
I actually want to go to the bazaar, pick up any sort of cheap weapons, daggers, swords, anything like that. About 10 of them. And then I want to take them back to my hotel room and enchant them. I'm going to do exactly what I told Bruce to do. I'm going to sell the enchanted gear for more money in Ahkasai.
All right. You find some. What are the options? The highest value you find is good.
Just cheap. It doesn't even have to be like good is fine. I don't want anything better than good anyway, because I'm going to be reselling them. Daggers, swords, spears, any sort of basic weapon. About 10 of them.
So daggers would be. Where's the good? For a good one, it'd be like 24 Floyds.
Okay.
Maybe. All right. Yeah.
Okay.
They're
That's
nothing
fine.
special.
I'll
They're just
do.
super simple. Oh yeah, the swords are where it starts getting more. But
I'll do 10 daggers then. It doesn't really matter. I'm just trying to sell it anyway. So I'll buy 10 daggers. That'd be 240 Floyds.
yeah, go with that for now.
That
I
didn't
have
work.
to make some tweaks to that, but that's fine. I know I made it and then actually didn't look into changing values for like stuff. But yeah,
I thought I could click on this and hit minus 240 and it would do the math for me.
yeah. If you hit equals, type the original number and then minus 240, it works.
Okay.
The number you see, if you hit equals, then type that number
Mm-hmm.
minus 240, it'll do the math for you.
Bastard.
Okay.
Nice.
So
Cool. Yep. So 10 daggers. And then I want to take them back to my hotel room and I'll use my already what I have for gems and I'll enchant just various enchantments. If you want me to be specific, I can. Otherwise, I'm basically just going to use a mixture of my elements plus sharpness.
yeah, I mean basic. It's
Yeah.
no, I mean you're gonna get like one use for each of them. It's not like you're getting 2 or 3
Yeah,
uses.
that's all I'm planning. That's all I was figuring was one use each.
Yeah, that's fine. That works. That's gonna take you quite a bit of time. I forget how. Actually, it's noon. So yeah, probably was it an hour per enchant or was it like? I think it was like half hour, right?
I honestly don't know if we were that specific, but yeah, half hour would make sense.
So we'll go half hour. So 5 hours. You have enough time to go get some food afterwards, and then maybe something else before bed. But
Sounds good to me.
you guys are leaving tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, did any of you have anything particular that you like to do in the town tonight before you leave in the morning?
I wanted to ensure that I buy a book on trolls so I at least know their general weaknesses or at least the regional ones.
You're trying to get points for your scan.
Yeah, I'm trying to prepare for that just so I'm not caught with my pants down if I don't have time to scan, or I can scan with a bit of an advantage.
I will say, I mean, I'll say that you find like a couple, not necessarily the crazy person on the corner that it starts talking to you and starts talking about a troll, and you start asking questions, and they keep telling you some stories.
Okay, and if this is just points for scan, that's cool too. So I sit and listen for a while.
I'll give you the points when you actually do the scan.
Okay.
Um,
I'm all ears if this guy wants to talk about trolls for a while.
yeah. So you and the two knights kind of just sit back, listen to him talk. And it goes on, and then the guy of the night taps you like, "Hey, getting kind of dark. We probably should head back. Got a long day tomorrow."
Got caught up in the local word. But yes, best get some rest for tomorrow.
You head on back to the the inn that they're or the place of that they're putting you up in, and you grab food, go on upstairs, and sleep the night away. Then you're back in the room, or you're at the hotel. Are you doing anything before? Are you headed back out to like grab anything beforehand, or?
I'm just making sure my goat is fed.
Okay.
And, because I guess they won't let me take them inside of places here.
What's
Some
up with
people. Yeah. I'll have to look for goat-friendly lodgings next time I'm in town.
that?
Yeah, I'll just call it a day. Go to bed.
All right, and then Gnomeface is done too after he does all his enchanting and tires himself
Yep.
out.
Yep. I'm done for the night.
All right, I'm gonna say that's where we're gonna stop. Nothing better than on the eve of headed on out to Ahkasai.
Pretty excellent.
So yeah, tomorrow is the day that our group of adventurers and then some heads on out towards Ahkasai through the mountains and takes on at least one troll. So we'll see how things roll. So yeah,
I mean, we've got a pretty big party, so I imagine we could handle at least 4.
Have you watched the movies that have just come out about trolls? If
No.
it's anything like that,
There's been movies about trolls.
the last Trolls movie I
with
saw,
a bunch of singing and dancing.
yeah, the last
No.
Trolls movie I saw had Justin Timberlake making me groove.
last
Yeah,
troll movies
like
I
they
saw
were
were
happy trolls.
last troll movies I saw were kaiju films.
What the hell troll movies do you watch that they're kaijus?
Anywho, yeah, so make sure to check in next week and listen to us, and let's see. Now that Sven, Gale, and Gnomeface have all met. Well, Sven has met both Gale and Gnomeface. Gale has met both Sven and Gnomeface. Sven and Gnomeface not necessarily met each other, but like now that our adventures are set to adventure together, yeah. And let's see how well they do against the troll. So don't forget, if you enjoy what you watch, hit the like, subscribe, review, and comment, all the good stuff. And we appreciate you so very much. And Johnny, final words, or Gale, final words.
Glory to Brockheart. The Knights rule. Join the Knights today.
It's...
I love it. All right, see you guys.
See ya.